So first of all, I would like to say thank you for the Kosovo Architecture Festival team and also for the Lina community for the opportunity of present my work and participate in this festival. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Mayra Deberg. I am architect and also product design. I am based in Porto, Portugal. And today I will present my work with construction and demolition waste, named Fragments of the Past. It was started in my master thesis, and now I am working in this project in my PhD research, where I try to explore how building waste can embody memory when it's integrated in the architecture. First, I would like to start with Aldo Rossi, that said that the city is the locus of the collective memory. Juhani Palasma also reminds us that architecture is conceived to preserve and to evoke memories, emotions, and be able to enhance human and cultural narratives. But if every year buildings are completely demolished to make a way for new construction, so if the city represents the locus of collective memory, what happens when we choose for the tabula rasa? By understanding tabula rasa as a process of demolition and reconstruction that ignore what existed before, it make me ask if the choice can be understood as an act of amnesia. However, before moving on, it's important to understand and to explore the context of the construction and how it has changed over time. In traditional construction, we know that people used to build with materials that were locally available. It was closer, had the closer relationship with climate, place, and also culture, and apply situated construction know-how. But with this, the emergency of the industrial society, it started like a disruption, and also with the modern construction, started to prioritize production scale. Following this, the materials become more standard, and also the construction process become more rationalized. For Saint-Pierre, she explored that one of the legacies of the modern construction is the generation of waste. Today, civil construction still works through a very linear movement, extracting resources, producing materials, using them, and then disposing them as waste. In Europe Union, around 50% of the extracted resources are related to civil construction. And construction demolition waste represents around 1/3 of this total solid waste generation in Europe. But around 90% of this waste has the potential to be reused as a research, as a create, and also as a construction material. In this project, I explore this potential as an opportunity, because these materials are often reused through a logic of downcycling. This happens because many of reasons. One of them is the material variability because construction and demolition waste is very heterogeneous materials, have a lot of can have a lot of different compositions. Also because technical limitations and also lack of trust in the material. My approach is based on the idea of the design can help to change the perception of value of the construction demolition waste by approaching this material through more like semantic perspective, trying to connect and to create meaning to the material, also embody memory and also experience. I think it's possible to change. Here I connect with Arturo Escobar. The idea of design is ontological. Design is about creating meanings, practice, design cultures, experience, and particular ways of living, being, and doing. Karana is a material research, and also connect two different points. The design approach and also the material approach. The researcher says that in the design, materials are understood in different way to experience and also to meanings. And materials also can create relationship between people, objects, and also the context. Here I will start to talk about my work, Fragments of the Past. So this project was developed during my master thesis, and one of my main intention was to create a connection between architecture and product design. As a design and a master of product design, I really want to try to go back to my first degree to try to understand and try to understand how it could work. So this project explored the interpretation of traditional technique of Terrazzo. Terrazzo is basically a technique that started in Venice. In the later past, it started to spread in many different contexts around the world. And my work, I start from this traditional technique that reuse byproducts from stone industry, and he placed this material for construction and demolition waste. Basically, I developed this work in the metropolitan area of Porto, involving 3 different cities, Santa Maria da Feira, Porto, and Vila Nova de Gaia. The development of the material is divided in 4 main processes. The first process was collecting construction and demolition waste from construction sites and also from waste management operators. The second includes classify and process the construction and demolition waste and also select the possible binders. Tá? Tá. The second process was classify and process the construction demolition waste, and also select the possibilities, possible binders, and fine aggregates to replace sand. In my research, I started by using marble waste, marble powder, and also granite powder. And in this process, I also select and start to shape the composition. I use it to work in very handmade way in my process. I use it to develop the whole process from building the molds and to casting the materials and also finishing and polishing the object. And the last process is by basically finishing the material, the superfice of the material, to show this the construction and demolition waste inside of the composition. This step is really important because the fragments become visible, and it's the first image show what I developed during my master thesis. I developed some product design for decorative. And the second group of images is about a project, Cria Up, that I developed with Diogo. It was basically about urban meaning, where we started to collect in the streets discarded materials, and also we buy some stuff in second-hand space that was like you use it, and we apply in this project. And all the pieces were named from the place that we took the materials. After that, I developed, I gave my first workshop about this material in University of Minho with some students from the Master in Product Design. Together we developed a bench, and which group of students developed one part of the terrazzo top of the bench, and we also use some wood that we found in the waste. And another project that it's more related to memory. The intention was to create this piece with some roof tiles waste from a family house. And so they give to me some fragments of bricks and tiles to integrate in the piece for the house. And looking for other projects that also work with the integration of construction demolition waste. I can notice that the most common used materials are brick, concrete, and stone and cement. In general, this material are applied in cladding, building materials, and product design. But there is already already a growing field around the use of construction and demolition waste. But I understand with my research that the reuse is not connected with memory, not in these projects. So I started to understand the connection that I would like to do with the memory. So Johanni Palarma says that explore the idea that architectural materiality can be carrier. Sorry, I don't know say this word, of time, present, and memory, and this leads with it's connected with my current research question: how can construction demolition waste be integrated in architecture as a support of memory? In my research, in my PhD research, I try to explore memory through two different approaches. The first one is the integration of material as memory. This starts from the origin of material, from the beauty context, from its previous use, its some traces, and also from the process of fragmentation when it happened demolition, restoration, transformation in the building. And the second direction comes from the reinterpretation of traditional techniques. Hidden memory is connected the origin of the technique and also the process. The traditional process is connected to a production context, to tools, techniques, and also the relation between thinking and making, and also between the head and the hands, is present. And this, with these two approaches, we connect this to a concept, the idea of transmaterialization. This idea is explored by Anna Sampierre in her PhD project. Here I have some image of the process, also some objects that are created with different traditional techniques. And it's basically how I am trying to explore my work. This project is developed together with a construction company and two different faculties, Faculty of Engineering and also Faculty of Fine Arts. And the intention is try to connect the research with laboratory technicians and also to some architects of Porto. With the company, I have some aggregates, but I don't know exactly where the place that it was took. So in this approach, the traditional techniques are really important to be embodied. And the other context that I will try to work with some architects from Porto. We are trying to make the in situ reintegration, and in two different contexts, restorations and also demolitions. The design method starts from construction site as a workshop, and the process is divided in three different objects. The first object is developed of like a debris library. In the case of a situ or in situ reintegration, the sample can work as a material archive of the building. And the second, I will develop a material library. Here, the sample is a tool, it's a tool for mediation between the architect and the client, and between me and the architect. In the last one, is about prototyping and the quantification. These materials that will be developed will applied in architectural components. And here I have this drawing. Basically, I want to try to show that we can find a lot of types of materials in construction demolition process. For example, wood, ceramic, concrete, stones, glass. And this diversity is really important because each material has different potentials and also visual, tactile, and also symbolic possibilities. And for conclude my presentation, it will work like this. The debris samples are basically the material that I found in the demolition, and after the material samples will paste it basically in powder and fragments of these wastes after the process of crushing. So And I will try to create other materials with clay, and it will be applied in products, in architectural components, for example, modular systems, Cobogor for ventilation, for example. And I would like to share one of the first workshop about building waste and memory, and some results about these two approaches. This workshop was in the Center Futures Festival, and in the my first perception was that the fragment was selected through color, texture, and contrast, but after they just have insight of memory after transformation of it in Terrazzo. So the material started to evoke a place. For example, they started to remember places, for example, Venice. And I will keep working in this type of workshops, trying to improve and make different questions to try to understand how memory can be activated through material, process, and transformation. Here I have my email and also this QR code for my website. And yeah, if you want to talk with me later, yeah, I'm open for it. Thank you so much.